Sometimes the hardest part of doing anything is overcoming the obstacles in your head and just getting started. Gabe Rosenthal and myself, Ian McLeod, discuss the importance of getting started and diving in.
So just diving in is one of my major theme, like my life, both professionally and personally, but I will keep it to the professional, theme here. So all my businesses, I basically tend to this lean startup theme, which basically means just put the minimum, viable product out there and go get it into the market and see how it goes, and then adjust it and improve it as you go. So, and I try to keep this as a common theme for everything I do. So when I got to these videos, I've been like postponing for quite some time, exactly because of all the stuff that I didn't have and I didn't know, and all the other type of limiting beliefs that we all have, and also because so there is no such place as I have enough or I have everything. So because because such place doesn't exist in my mind, then I can start at any point, right? So what do I need? I need a camera, a decent, resolution camera, which any phone right now has, and and an Ethernet connection, which anybody has, and just some thoughts that you can share, which anybody has.
Right.
So, I said, what if I do it like raw, meaning exactly what you just said, like no preparation, no script, no editing, no post video producing, nothing. So just start and press record, and one time, no. So
multiple takes.
Yeah, one take.
Yeah.
How it goes, it goes. I don't care.
Nice.
So I did it, and yesterday actually was the 45th day in a row.
Amazing.
So it's more like a practice. I'm not trying to become a very good videographer or whatever, or producer, but more to inspire myself and other people to just start doing stuff, because there is no real danger or repercussion if you're not doing it perfectly. I mean, you just go and do it and adjust and make it better, and this is how it all started. And I know video is like very important nowadays, and it's getting more and more important to communicate your message out there, and this is why I'm doing it.
Yeah, I mean, that's how most people are getting information now is through video. So one of the recent videos you did actually was kind of speaking on this, about just diving in and not being afraid and that kind of thing. And I absolutely loved your analogy, the physics analogy, with the whole a body at rest stays at rest, and a body in motion stays at motion unless some other force acts upon it. I mean, it's absolutely true. I mean, it's a scientific kind of physics theory phenomenon, but also, I mean, it's just true in general. It's so easy. If you just stay sitting, nothing's going to happen.
Exactly.
Man, I love it.
Yeah, I love to observe what's happening in nature and in general in universe, because we are part of it after all. I mean, it's like we are just one small part of all this natural universe, right? And I think like most of the species, we're bound to what's happening in the universe, and even more so, we can be inspired by it, and we find very useful stuff in it.
Right.
So this is one of the simplest things that you can find. Like anything that is in a certain state tends to stay there unless something else, puts a force on it or something. So if we think about our lives and how we do stuff, it's the same thing. It's nothing different. It's exactly the same thing. So when I see people being stuck, they complain about being stuck. It's like a very paradoxical situation, because unless you do something, you cannot complain about it, because this is the laws of nature. I mean,
Right.
it's just when we accept that, it's much easier to move forward because you accept what is natural, and it's nothing like you cannot be amazed by it. It is what it is. I mean, of course you're stuck because you're not doing anything to move.
Right.
So it's like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
If you look at it in a very simplistic way, but
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, there's so many people, and I think that's the challenge. So many people get stuck in that mentality of they want to do something, they want to accomplish something, they have these great ideas, they have this desire to do something more. It's just the reality is they're for whatever reason there's some sort of barrier, some sort of obstacle, and usually it's some sort of fear, right? They don't, it's not going to be perfect, it's not going to be as good as what they're seeing out there. I mean, I really try to look at all of this, things that I do, and I enjoy learning, and I try to look at all these as learning opportunities, right? I mean, it's all an opportunity to learn from something, and I will say, regardless of the first time I've done it, or even making a video now, I still am always learning something, or I'm always, oh, I could have done that better, or I wish I had done this differently or something. But it's an opportunity to learn from that. And oftentimes, the beauty is it's so easy to learn things now. I mean, I remember being a kid, you had to somehow find this expert somewhere, or this source, or this information, or go to this store that this one guy that knew this special thing. But now, I mean, it's so easy to access information and learn fairly quickly. And so you can just adjust and improve quickly as well, in comparison to what people used to have. I mean, so that in itself, the fact that we can advance so quickly just through learning, the only obstacle is just jumping in and doing it. You got to get started somewhere.
I've been practicing meditation and mindfulness, and I've been reading a lot about this and practicing a lot. And what I love about it is that this expectation about the next day and the next moment and the next hour is exactly what's preventing us from being focused on the present moment, so that we make the best of it. So it's just a very paradoxical perspective, but this kind of expectation that we all have always about what's going to happen, it's because our mind cannot be in two places at the same time.
Right.
So if your mind is in the future expecting things and kind of being fearful about what's going to happen, you cannot be at the same time present now. So
right.
you can do the best you can to to have the best output. It's just you can't. It's again, it's a very simple limitation, and this is one of the few real limitations that we have, because we only have one processor in our head.
Right.
We are not like computers nowadays that have 8 or 10 or 16 or whatever processors.
Right.
We only have one, so you cannot have it in both places focusing and having the best yield. You just can't.
Right.
So that's why you can either be in the present and then not worry about the future. So if you're fully now focused on what you're doing, you cannot be worried and you cannot be afraid.
Right.
And vice versa. If you are afraid and you're worrying about what's going to happen, you just can't physically and technically be in the present.
Right.
So it's just simple.
Yeah. It's I don't know if you got a chance to see, there's that Netflix series about Michael Jordan and the Bulls called The Last Dance.
So it's 3 times.
It's awesome. And there's that moment, that gem where they share, and and him and some of his teammates, they were just shooting it was way outside of 3, and they were just practice, because he's always practicing, right? And they were shooting, and all of them missed it except for him. And they said the difference was that Jordan always thinks in the moment. Like that's all he's thinking about is in that exact moment, what he needs to do to be successful in that moment. Versus all the other players were thinking about the repercussions or the what's going to happen, about making the basket, and then even what happens if I don't make the basket, and how am I going to appear on camera and to my friends and that kind of. And Jordan isn't thinking about any of that stuff. He's literally just thinking about what he needs to do in the moment.
Exactly. And if you look at all the other athletes, great athletes in the world, because it's a very good example to observe their presence and their focus.
Right.
You can always see it in all the other sports, everything. You can see that, that they don't see anything else.
Right.
And they're just focused on either the ball or whatever, their object of the sport is. But they don't, for them, the outer world doesn't exist except the game itself and the opponent.
Right.
So you can see that, as you mentioned, they just don't care about anything else, just to make the best of their present moment. I guess for you and I both, we want to share something, right? That's the main reason we are doing it. We want to share some of our knowledge and experience and expertise to people who might be looking for it, right? That's why we are doing it.
Right.
So if we consider this as a main objective, then by doing it as often as possible and learning from the previous iteration and trying to do it better, we serve those people. Because if this is like the main purpose of why we are doing it, by doing that we're servicing and we serve this purpose that we decided that this is why we are doing it.
Right.
So, and it's just like a self-fulfilling prophecy, in a way. Again, it's something very simple. Like if we're doing it all the time, of course, and we are mindful of when we're doing it, of course, we're going to get better. If we're going to get better, we're going to service more people, and then more people will see it. And then, of course, the number of views will rise in time.
Right.
So, but it always goes back to how well you are focusing to do it every time.
There's some, really well-known, successful YouTubers out there already that have all, the consistent theme I've seen. So there's YouTube videos out there about how to be successful on YouTube and that kind of thing, or tips from, a successful YouTuber. And pretty much consistently, and this is, there's Roberto Blake and Nick Nimmin, all of them, consistently what they say is, one, just do it. Like just go out and do it, start making stuff. And they all say they wish they had started earlier. Like they wish they hadn't put all those obstacles in the way, and they just dove in and started doing, because that's how they learn and that's how they grow. And it's just a consistent theme. There's another one, D for Darius is another guy I like to watch. And he just says, like, his is about film. A lot of these are about film just because I like to learn about this stuff. But he literally says, just go out and film. Like, the way you learn how to be a better filmmaker is going out and filming. Like, just go out and film stuff. So I love that concept, which kind of bleeds into. I know your work is with coaching and that kind of thing too, and I imagine that's probably where a lot of your conversations just go to, is like helping somebody just do what they want to do.
Exactly. And what one of the most again simplest but powerful questions, because coaching is a lot about powerful questions,
Right.
And I've been reading and studying like thousands of questions, but one of the simplest and so powerful yet is this: what is it that you really, really want?
Yes, absolutely.
Because this is what it is about, actually.
Right.
The coaching is a process that takes somehow with like different approaches all the bullshit out
Uh-huh.
you know, and lets you say and listen to yourself, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
What, you know?
Absolutely.
Basically, this is what it is. And
That's
this is
brilliant.
what I hope to help all the clients that I'm working with, to cut to the chase and just say it out loud and start doing something about it.
Yeah.
Because I think probably, you know, like if you read about people on the deathbed, what is it that they regret? It's about not doing stuff.
Right.
You know, that's the only thing they regret.
Right. They didn't
Not doing
accomplish.
or not doing it before they could, you know,
Right.
like a lot earlier in time. So
Absolutely.
yeah, this is what coaching is about, just helping a client somehow going through all the layers of bullshit and self-imposed limitations and get to that, you know, diamond, to get it out there and start working on it. That's it.
The thing I know for certain, you don't know what's going to come out of it, right? But you know, maybe nothing really too much happens, but I mean, something will happen, right? But it's a definite that nothing comes from nothing, right? Like nothing's, if I don't do anything, nothing will happen for sure.
Yeah.
So, and who wants to live like that? You know, I mean, if I want something to happen, I gotta do something.
Yeah.
Whether it's going to be successful or not, I don't know, but certainly, I know one thing is certain: if I don't do anything, nothing will happen. So
I would even go further with your idea and say, not only nothing will happen. When you say nothing, I guess you mean nothing good will happen, but
just nothing at all. You know what I mean?
Well, I would argue that nothing is not actually nothing. It's nothing good, because if you feel that potential that I just mentioned, so if you really, you know, that intuition or gut feeling or whatever you want to call it, right? You feel you can do something in one direction and you don't do, it's a lot of things that will happen. Actually, a lot of frustration will build up. And this is not nothing. It's going to stay there, and you're going to become more frustrated, and you're going to become miserable, and these things will affect your life both physically and mentally. So I would argue that it's a lot that's going to happen, not on the positive side.
Oh man, that's a great point. Yeah, I mean, yeah, the disappointment and the shame and you know, the regret and all those things. Absolutely. No, that's a great point. I never. Yeah, even more motivation to get off your butt and do something.
Yeah,
just so you can.
I mean, we have a lot of motivation.
Right.
Please subscribe and check out our other videos. Thanks for watching.